What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Smith. And thank you guys for taking the time on this beautiful Monday night. Quite the whirlwind on social media today, I will say. Stephen Smith being a complete jackass. Mike Missinelli wishing death on people. It's quite a whirlwind out there. But I thought I'd bring you a little bit of Eagles football. And we're going to throw in the rest of the NFC East as well. We've been going through the positional outlooks. We got through the offense, talked about, there's some pretty tough offenses in this division. So going to be very intriguing to see who wins it. But that's going to come down to what these defenses look like. So we're going to start in the trenches, baby, where it all begins. So we're going to talk a little bit about NFC East positional outlook. Defensive line. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, any comments, whether it pertains to the defensive lineman or not, please feel free to throw them my way. Thank you for taking the time this Monday. Hope you're all having a safe, enjoyable day. For me, it has been long as hell. I couldn't wait to get home, put this together as quick as I possibly could with 8,422 graphics. But we're here and we're ready. So let me know your thoughts. Who you feeling is the top defensive line in the NFC East? You got the Cowboys, you got the Giants, the Eagles, maybe the Washington football team. They're kind of good. So let me hear your thoughts. We're not talking front seven. We're just talking defensive line right now. And clearly, we've got one of the 3-4s in here, so we added in the edge rushers. We're going to talk about all of that. So going to talk about some of the key losses, some of the additions, who these guys drafted, who they added to these defensive lines. So let's get right into it. We're starting at the bottom here, who I have as my, I guess, the worst defensive line. They weren't great last year, so we're going to start it off with my least favorite team in the world, the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, we all know that they do indeed suck. So we're going to start it off with Dallas last year, 31st against the rush. That's pretty terrible. But they were 11th against the pass, probably because the teams were just running it down their throat. Then you look at their total. They gave up 386.4 yards per game. That was 23rd in the league last year. Not great. Not great at all. We know they were banged up on offense, had some issues on defense, but well, I don't really care. They were not good. They were 21st in sacks as well, with 1.9 per game. So for me, yeah, they weren't exactly the best. And there's some pretty damn good defensive lines in the NFC East. So I have them at the bottom here. What is going on, my man John in the building? What's up to everybody out there? Hope you're all having a good one. Feel free to throw some comments my way. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. But tonight, we're just kind of getting into the defensive line. So trying to stick to that myself. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. John, hope you're having a great night, my man. But the Cowboys, they've got Dexter Lawrence. Or DeMarcus Lawrence, my apologies. I'm getting to the Giants already. They're damn defensive tackle. But anyways, DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end. I don't know. He fell off. Their team kind of fell off, to be honest with you. So there were a lot of issues there. But, they actually added in the draft. They went with their third-round pick. You see there, I have him as the backup defensive tackle. Osa Odighizuwa, sure. And then they went with also Chauncey Golston there, backup defensive end. He also was in the third round there. And then in round 6, they got Bohanna, who's not up there. But they did add some guys in the draft to try to bolster that defensive line. They lost Antoine Woods to the Colts, so that's a big loss. They're going to be depending a lot on Neville Gallimore and Tristan Hill there in the middle, which, hey, I love it. I'm all for it, but not exactly the greatest for them. They did bring in Carlos Watkins, you see there, in free agency, so he's going to try to compete. And then also Brent Urban is there. He's going to try to help out, more of a run stuffer, can play inside and out. But Randy Gregory, we don't know what dude, when he's playing full strength, he's a beast, but I just really don't know what he's going to bring to the table next year. So I really don't know, but I do like Bradley and I really liked him last year in the draft. To see him go to the Cowboys truly pissed me off. So that kind of sucks. I'll be real with you. But like I said, they took those pick 75 and 84. They took, 2 defensive linemen and then backed up with pick 192 there with Quentin Bohanna. So they did try to add, and Anai they added last year. Maybe he could take Randy Gregory's job and be starting on the other side of DeMarcus Lawrence. And I think that would be a smart move for them, to be real with you. I really think they have a talented guy there. And obviously, as an Eagles fan, I don't want that. I don't like that. I don't want him to progress. But obviously, things like that will happen. And I think, Bradley and I is a pretty talented kid, and he could definitely beat out Randy Gregory if Randy Gregory doesn't play to his full potential. And I just don't know what it is. And I guess some people just got some mental things. We all know all about that here in Philadelphia. We know all about it. Regardless, that's the Cowboys. Have them at the bottom. Let me know your thoughts. How you feeling about the Cowboys? You think that they improved enough, adding what they did with 2 third-rounders and a 6th-rounder, I believe it was. So, I think that they're trying to get better, but it's still their defense kind of sucks. So, hey, I'm okay with that. Then you're looking at next up on the list, and this is what I talk about. I have the Cowboys at the bottom, but these next defensive lines are all pretty damn good. So, some had some issues, but some people, I think, overlook some things that were done last year. So let's keep moving along. We'll get into those teams in a little bit here. But next up on the list, I do have the New York Giants. You might be saying, whoa. They've got a pretty good defensive line. Yes, they do. But there are some other good ones coming your way. I can promise you that. So let's take a gander here. You got the Giants, and you see they added Ryan Andersen, got him from Washington. So that was a nice little loss for Washington there. But he just stays in the division for us. So, regardless, doesn't help. But what I really think was a great move for them was adding Azeez Ojulari in the draft. I mean, that kid is a stud with the 50th pick of the draft, 2nd round. They took him, and I was pissed. I'll be real with you, because he's pretty damn good. So they got themselves a nice edge rusher. And then actually Andersen Smith there, you see, under Ryan Andersen. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a job. The kid out of Northern Iowa I actually was kind of high on. He's kind of a tweener. He needs to put on some pounds for sure. But he's like 6'6". Dude's kind of lanky though. So needs some development, but I think, he's going to be good for the Giants, and that sucks for the Eagles. But Leonard Williams is back. That was a great addition the other year when they added him. For them to re-sign him this year, that was big, very big. Losing Dalvin Tomlinson was huge. That's awesome. That guy was a monster. He went back to Minnesota, and I love it. So in the middle, very questionable. They brought in Danny Shelton, who was last with Detroit and didn't really do anything. So, yeah, he never really amounted to much. I think he was drafted by the Browns there, but they still got Austin Johnson. Once again, not much, but they've got some younger guys competing. But once again, nothing to jump off the page. There you see Dexter Lawrence. He's actually pretty good. So him and Williams, you're looking at yourself, a 3-4 here. So I've got the guys on the outside, your edge rushers, outside linebackers. So people, I don't want to confuse anyone by putting them there. You'd be thinking, oh, they're linebackers, but they're edge rushers. They will play on the line. They'll be standing up a lot of times. So we'll see what they do there. But the 3 guys in the middle, your nose tackle, defensive tackle, and defensive end. Those guys, they're pretty dominant. But like I said, losing Dalvin Tomlinson was huge for them. So, that definitely is a big loss, big loss for them. So that put them at the second to bottom for me. They were 11th against the rush last year, 16th against the pass, 12th in total yards. So not too bad. But 349.3 yards per game is what they were giving up. And their defensive line was getting 2.5 sacks per game, which was 12th in the league. So, I mean, they were decent, but adding Ojulari was huge. But once again, talking about that loss in the middle of Dalvin Tomlinson, that's a big hole to fill. So we'll see how they do there. Adding Ryan Andersen was a decent move. But like I said, I think Andersen Smith could take that job from him. I would not be surprised in the slightest. So Giants, that's one of their strengths. That defensive line is pretty good. So I'm not saying when I put them at second, that they're, second to the bottom, that they're bad. But, these next lines that are coming up, whoo, baby, they're pretty good. So this might ruffle some feathers with some people, and I apologize. But I'm just going probably because of a little bit of homerism. Let's be real here. But Washington, they are dominant as hell. Their front 7 is much better than the Eagles. I'll say that. But when we're looking at the defensive line, let me just explain myself a little bit. So let's take a gander at Washington. And man, we know that they are stacked. We dealt with them at the beginning and the end of the season last year. They are no joke. But hey, they were 15th against the rush, not the greatest, but they were third against the pass, fifth in total yards, only giving up 316.5 yards per game. And they were fifth in the league in sacks at 2.9. Got Chase Young. The kid's phenomenal, one of the best edge rushers in the game already. So, going to be incredible to see what he does in year two. Jonathan Allen and Payne in the middle. Oh, my God. They're pretty damn good. And then Matt Ioannidis as well and Tim Settle. They all are pretty damn good. So, that's quite the rotation. Then you look at Montez Sweat, who I think, obviously he's another dude that's a stud, and we wanted him a couple years ago. But he is, of course, a Washington football player, teamer, whatever. But then you see James Smith Williams down there. He's going to be competing, but there's the other name you see, Casey Toohill. God, so pissed off that the Eagles let him walk. Just stupid things that this damn organization was doing the past few years, and it just pisses me off. Now we're going to see Casey Toohill there as depth. And you know who he's replaced in there, though? Big loss for them. And look, he was not even a starter. He was a rotational piece. I believe it was like 38% of the snaps. Don't quote me on that. That Ryan Kerrigan was playing. But losing Ryan Kerrigan is huge. Also lost Ryan Andersen, who we just saw there with the Giants. So, I mean, those are, decent losses. Not huge for them because they've got young talent. You see it right in front of you. These guys are pretty damn good and didn't really have to make much changes. They did. They added two guys in the draft. Nothing special. William Bradley King and then Shaka Toney out of Penn State, who, hey, I like those kids. I think they're pretty decent. Even William Bradley King out of Baylor. I mean, they're both edge rushers. So they're adding to that to compete with Casey Toohill and James Smith Williams. So we'll see there. But those guys could play outside linebacker as well. We know that the Washington football team switched from 3-4 to a 4-3 once Ron Rivera got there. So they still have some pieces there. You still have your stand-up rushers, guys that do things. And we talk about that. The Giants do that. And I do believe Jonathan Gannon is going to have a lot of that for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think this pass rush is going to be fun. I think all of it. We added some run stuff. Like, look, Marlon Tuipulotu was a damn good pick for me. I thought in round 6 that was a great pick. I think he's going to get some playing time, bringing back Ridgeway, T.Y. McGill. Excited. But let's talk about the best defensive line in the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I know some people might be upset because, well, Washington is pretty damn good. Philadelphia was 22nd against the run last year, 14th against the pass, 18th in total yards, 363.1. And that's not the greatest. We'll be real with you. But let's talk about the fact that this offense sucked completely. This entire team sucked. Everything sucked. Jim Schwartz sucked. Picket fences suck. It all sucks, and I hated it. So this is a completely different team. And look, I'm going in blind because I don't know what Jonathan Gannon's going to do. But we talked about it before we even heard from him. Multiple schemes going to be based off of who the opponent is. That's how it should be. And I think, they're younger minds that are the coaches now of this team. And they are going to be changing with the NFL how it should be. And I really am excited to see what we do. You see here, one of the things that always stuck out to me that I brought up over the months is the fact that the Eagles were third in sacks per game last year at 3.1. That's pretty amazing. But you also got to look at, well, you're playing from behind sometimes. I don't know how you want to look at it, dude. But here's the thing. The Eagles last year are a completely different team. So I can't really look at it like that. If you just look at the talent of this team right here, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, and healthy Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. We didn't get to see much of that. And when we did, they were feasting. So I'm excited to see what they do next. And then you have Derek Barnett, who, big question mark. We'll see what he does. I could see him standing up at times because I've talked about Jonathan Gannon, maybe integrating that into this defense, having some stand-up rushers, possibly with the addition of Patrick Johnson in the draft. That we added him. I'd be excited to see him or Jannard Avery maybe standing up as well. You got Ryan Kerrigan, who can put his hand in the dirt or stand up. So a lot of options here. I love that. The Kerrigan addition was huge. Even added that Willie Henry at one point. We added some depth there. We know Josh Sweat. Love the kid. Hopefully he keeps progressing. He's a great rotational piece as a pass rusher. But we talked about Marlon Tuipulotu. Not, I only put the backups names here. I only put a couple names, but there's plenty of names to talk about. T.Y. McGill, we could talk about. And, this team has guys that are competing. And that, to me, is what's exciting. But if they're healthy with that rotation, oh, my God, they're going to feast on people. This is going to be the best defensive line in the NFC East and could be one of the best in the league. Like I said, we were already third in sacks last year, which, dude, these are numbers, and you got to take numbers with a grain of salt. That doesn't mean, well, they had the most sacks, so they're the best. That's not how it works. But you got to get some kind of excitement, and you got to pick apart what you see from these things. And that tells me that this team has some damn talent, and we all know that, dude. And that's what pissed us off the last couple of years. It's like, we know that you're good. What the? I just hope that these guys are holding each other accountable. Nick Sirianni's that kind of coach that we need to bring the right. Look, I talk about him being the yin and the yang with Hurts as the leader of the team as a player and the coach, together. I think, dude, you got Hurts as the Terminator who comes in, means business. And then you got, Sirianni, who's the happy-go-lucky, getting everybody pumped up. I love it, man. And fly, Eagles, fly. You know it, baby. Dang. Dude, I'm so pumped up when I just get these shows ready. I'm like, dude, just talking about what this team could possibly be. And look, yeah, there's going to be bumpy roads and this team could suck. Sure, that's fine. But I want to look at it from the viewpoint I have been. And that's with some optimism, man. We've got what we wanted, right? We wanted change. We needed change. We didn't just want it, man. It was needed. People can feel however they want about Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson. They're gone. It's Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. Let's go. And all the guys we added, this is a whole team effort, man. And you saw the guys that stuck around, the veterans that chose to restructure, help out, to build this team toward the future. And I think it's going to work well for some of these young guys to have them around the locker room. So I'm excited about this season, and I'm excited just looking at those defensive lines, man. I think it's going to be great to figure out who is the best, because it was tough for me. And I was like, you know what? If it's tough, well, I'm just going to go with the Eagles because, well, I'm an Eagles fan. So, but Washington's no joke, man. This is not to sit here and say the Eagles are better than everyone. This is just to go through and, look at some of the competition, man, and they're stacked. Dallas has a bunch of question marks there, losing Antoine Woods, and it's not like he's anything great, but now they've got Gallimore and Hill there in the middle. That's you got to see what you got out of Gregory. I've talked about Anai beating him out. DeMarcus Lawrence, we'll see. Is he still that guy we saw a couple years ago? Not sure. The Giants, with their 3-4, and that's actually hybrid. They run 3-4 and 4-3, so guys are all over the place. But got Leonard Williams there. We talked about adding Azeez Ojulari. Man, they mean business too. Washington, they lost Kerrigan to us. That's great. But, dude, they still have Chase Young. So it's like, and Jerron Payne is just a monster, dude. So, and I'm not saying that Jonathan Allen, Matt Ioannidis, all these other guys aren't good too. Montez Sweat is damn good. So it's like, they might be the best, but I'll be real with you. The Eagles might be the best too. So I just put the Eagles at the top because that's the way I roll. But if you guys have any questions, comments you want to throw my way, I will be rolling out here on this wonderful Monday. But I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be real with you guys. So much going on. Sorry for the late shows here, but I appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching this later, watching this tomorrow, whenever you're watching it, always feel free to comment. Let me know how you feel. Who do you have as the best defensive line? Where do you think I got it wrong? Are there some people you thought I should have mentioned? Because I'm sure there's fans of other teams that are like, oh, well, this guy from the practice squad that I didn't mention. Let me know. Always trying to learn about every player, getting pretty in depth with all this stuff. So it's been fun, man, because it's coming up almost 2 weeks away. We're coming up, baby, on training camp. I cannot stress to you how exciting that makes me feel inside. So let me know if you guys need anything. If you're looking for any of the offensive positions, I went through the NFC East positional outlook. We did all of the Eagles, so go check those tapes out. But I have the NFC East positional outlook on all of the offensive positions. Go check those out. If you're hungry for some birds, comment. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll always get back to you. And now we're on to the defense. Got the defensive line done. We're going to do linebackers next. That should be fun. I know where the Eagles will be. Jesus. Anywho, I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic night. Nina, hope you're having a great night. Thank you for tuning in. And I can't wait to get these done because now I'm like, oh, man. I was trying to do it in between like interviews and things that were happening. It's like, well, we're actually getting close. So got a few things I want to get done before training camp begins, and then we're strapped in. We're strapped in. So, Nina, I hope you'll keep tuning in because I truly appreciate that you do. Love talking to you guys, not only on here, but throughout social media. A lot of you guys on Twitter. There's Facebook, which I don't use much, but hey, wherever you guys try to comment and talk to me, I love it, man. I truly do. I appreciate all of your support. So I hope you're all having a great night. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate all of you guys checking me out on all of these platforms that I just mentioned. You can find me at all these places here. Thanks for hitting that like button, retweeting, subscribing to the YouTube channel. All that stuff truly helps me. So I got to give you big thanks for doing all that stuff, guys. I truly appreciate it. Have yourselves a great night. I am definitely going to get rolling. Let me know if you need anything, even if it's not about football. Always here for you guys. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Have a great night. And as always, go Birds!